Let's talk about a nation threatened from beyond its borders, that's lost faith in modern times, its people despairing of their corrupt political leaders that squabble like children, when, with a godlike conviction, a strong man emerges from the shadows, less a politician, more the head of a movement, bringing with him the dawn of a dangerous new era. Sound familiar? Let's talk about that champion of the Orthodox faith and Romania's soul, Corneliu Zelea Codreanu. This was a man who personally assassinated Iași's chief of police as early as the 1920s, going on to forge a murderous organisation, taking out Jews with impunity and conducting assassinations within the political classes, all in the fierce pursuit of safeguarding the essence of the Romanian spirit. What can today's Romania learn about that devil's decade, the 1930s, and the country's most notorious fascist, Capitanul Codreanu, the leader of the Iron Guard? Born in Iași in 1899, despite his peasant image, Codreanu was actually the son of a teacher, and he studied under the far-right professor A.C. Cuza. The Greater Romania that he studied in the 1920s was feeling particularly insecure. The country had doubled in size, and on every border sat agitators wanting their land back. Iași was full of Bolshevik sympathisers, and the local population was almost half Jewish. Codreanu understood that a hero needs enemies, and at a young age he found his by conflating Jews with foreigners and communists, and pushing for violent solutions against these outsiders. Promoting a potent brand of heroism and thuggery, his movement grew quickly. It was rebranded the Legion of Michael the Archangel, Legiunia Arhanghelul Mihail, when Codreanu had a religious conversion inside prison. Like Hitler, who also spent time inside prison as a young man, Codreanu understood the value of symbols. His movement adopted powerful Orthodox imagery and Nazi-inspired swastikas. The captain quickly gained notoriety as a talisman for Romania's poor, young and marginalised. Violence and murder were justified as part of a journey towards purity of Romania's blood and soil. Legionnaires wore little bags of soil tied around their necks as their leader rode and walked through wild mountains wearing virgin white peasant smocks. Codreanu proudly claimed to have no programme and no money. His disciples did not think alike, they felt alike. This was not a movement based on reason, but on faith, with a killer creed at its heart, because heroes must not be afraid of death. The legionnaires considered themselves more a school or an army, not a political party, and as Codreanu's power grew, the lethal paramilitary wing became a terrifying force on the streets. It was renamed the Iron Guard. Ion Duca was Romania's first murdered Prime Minister. Codreanu was a reluctant politician. He kept a pistol in his pocket in Parliament, and in 1937, when the Iron Guard came second with 22% of the vote, Constantin Argetoianu lamented, "The sympathy the Legionnaire movement enjoys is thanks to nothing other than a reaction against the corrupt government from top to bottom under which we live." Green fascist banners were unfurled across the country, and poser Codreanu stood in a fedora surveying his killing squads, which were fuelled with money and arms from Nazi Germany. King Carol, remember him, was summoned to Hitler's retreat in the Bavarian Alps. In a meeting, the Führer admired Codreanu and suggested he'd make a great prime minister. The Romanian king, whose fascisto efforts were a pathetic copy of the Iron Guard, returned to Bucharest determined to avenge his main rival. Codreanu, already imprisoned, was strangled to death with 13 other legionnaires. A brutal fascist had been killed, and so a martyr born. The damage had been done. By 1938, Romania's fledgling democratic institutions had been crushed, and violence stalked the streets as the country desperately searched for its next Mr. Strong to appease that mare lider, Adolf Hitler. One man stood out, but the story of General Ion Antonescu is for another time. Vă mulțumesc pentru atenție.